It's the real news, Newsreel, with nothing but the real news. Well, we've got a new pope. Yes, and he's got a new name, Francisco, if you will, and he comes from Argentina. He's a Jesuit. First time we've had a non-European since the 700s. In fact, I'm going to be serious now. Those were from Syria. Their names were Gregory. Let's welcome the new Pope, Francis I. By the way, speaking of Syria, isn't that a segue? They're having that terrible revolution, and you might have noticed they've used some flags very similar. The revolutionaries put another star on the flag and made the colors flip from red to green to green to red. Well, it's time now to spin the food news roulette wheel. And today's winners are green tea and coffee, even together, and carrots seem to be bad for smokers. Who knew that? I bet Bugs Bunny did. Well, what's up, Doc? Got a light? Well, we got a new lady president in South Korea, and North Korea's Young Jong-il got so ill we had to get a youngin', and the youngin' is threatening the U.S. and South Korea, even abrogating the decades-old ceasefire and threatening to rain down missiles on the U.S. Our new Secretary of State, Hagel, and his name does mean rain, isn't that interesting? He's going to prevent it from happening by putting missiles in California and Alaska. Wow. Well, Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands has decided to resign, making Prince Charles in the UK wondering, come on, lady, how about giving me a chance? But be that as it may, let's conjecture that the euro coins for the Netherlands probably are going to have a new reverse, maybe something like here with Willem Alexander on the back. Who's the next host going to retire? Notice I did do it in the form of a question. That's right, it's Canadian-come-American Alex Trebek. In the wings, people are talking that today's show's Matt Lauer may be the shoe-in for the next host of Jeopardy. Art Fleming, I bet you're rolling over in your grave. Isn't that right, Don Pardo? Well, every college kid and every engineering professor knows that M.C. Escher only draws paintings of things that cannot exist in the real world. Here on the Real News Newsreel. Well, turns out that's not always true. Somebody's done a Lego version showing that it can be done. Wow-wee. Well, in Belgium, the land of real 100% chocolate, none of that Swiss milky stuff if you know what I mean, somebody had to do it. That's right, they put a choo-choo chocolate train in the main train station. And all aboard, or bon appetit, take your pick. Well, California has certainly changed its view on freeways. They're no longer free. That's right, just like the turnpikes in the East Coast, you gotta pay if you want to use the high occupancy lanes. Or as some people call them, the high income lanes, or Lexus lanes. What'll they think of next? Whatever it is, it'll cost you probably an arm and a leg, and maybe your firstborn. Well, time is running out for a contest being put on by the FCC to put an end to telemarketers. It's a complex system, but you got a chance to win a whole gob full of money. And if we can get an end to telemarketers, especially the stupid ones that will call you again and yet use a different name, well, regardless, we all know, death to telemarketers. Well, it's tax time again here in the good old US of A, and here's an easy-to-follow tax flowchart for you Californians. Isn't that easy? And turns out that H&R Block, well, they have such a bad problem with their computers, you might as well have done it yourself. Oh well, let's pay some more taxes. Or is that Texas? Don't get me started. Yahoo! Well, all the rage on the internets and the Facebookers is the frowny cat. Look at that frowny cat. Row, kitty. Well, we here at the Real News Newsreel got out our crack video jockeys and thought we'd try to make him a happy cat. Well, it's time to change the time here in the U.S. to daylight time, and the time in Europe is going to be changed next week, and this was a change from when we used to be a week later. You'd think they'd get this all straightened out, but in any case, well, a week later, the time will get back to what it had been before, with Europe being now on what they call their summer time. And the living is easy. But I'll stop. Well, it comes as no surprise to the Europeans that them Americans do love to text. And text while they're driving. Europeans wouldn't think of it. Except as it turns out, the Portuguese. Well, you keep on texting now. Go ahead now. Keep texting. Oh yeah, you're having lots of fun. You told me so. But it doesn't make it true, does it? Well, the conservatives got together to lick their wounds and any other body parts they got over the loss of the previous election. And of course, who did they make a point of not inviting? The one person who could win, Chris Christie. And instead, Mitt Romney showed up and delivered the same speech he lost with. They keep wondering why they're going to lose. Well, that's it on the Real News Newsreel.